So fear is a funny thing because when Ebola hits the market, now fear associated with a biotech stock is good because it means, okay, they're going to make the vaccine and I'm terrified of this Ebola, you better hurry, right? And the share prices go up. But fear with American Airlines is bad because it means I'm not flying on American Airlines, I'm scared I'm going to get Ebola from my seatmate.
Or fear for, like, I mean, the most recent example is the fear of an interest rate hike, and we've had what I quantify as 6 discernible rate hike freakouts. I mean, really,
false alarms,
in 16 months.
Right.
Where you could have bought bonds instead of freaking out that there would be a rate hike.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Is that a tangible fear that you've looked at recently?
We haven't looked systematically at rate hike fear, although I know a lot of people do. And actually, an academic group did look at our data around rate hikes, and they did find that the more fear in our fear index, that there would be more volatility following the rate hikes and typically more of a rebound like you.
Yeah, the rebounds we've seen a lot. I mean, it's interesting. You've done Brexit. I've read your
Yeah,
your
we
work
actually
on Brexit.
successfully rode the market through Brexit. What was fascinating about that is not only...
Because you had your fund.
Yeah, we actively traded through that.
Nice.
Yeah, it was great.
That's
for
why
the
you're
fund.
so happy.
Yeah, right.
Because somebody who's fading the fear or fading whatever it is that you're
it was wonderful.
Really?
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
Well,
you're the only guy. There's a very small percentage
know.
of fund managers said, "Oh, it was wonderful. Brexit was wonderful."
Well, I mean, we don't know what the long-term implications will be for the UK, so I don't want to minimize. It's not wonderful, but we don't know. It's change, right? So we'll see how things evolve. But what was interesting with Brexit was everybody. Well, why I say it was wonderful was because everyone was lined up, including myself, thinking, "Oh, they're going to remain." And that morning, our machine learning model came out and said, no, time to short, you better get short. And I thought, no way.
Right.
And again, but then I thought, wait, every time I override my model, I'm wrong. Historically, that's the wrong time. And it's because we cannot escape, the groupthink, whether we believe it or not, and I'm just as vulnerable as everybody else, even knowing it. We're all vulnerable to groupthink. And there are a few select traders who are not. Some of them are psychopaths, right? And they're able to dissociate themselves from that empathic feeling. But
they can't feel anything at all.
Yeah, but for the rest of us, when we feel that, we just have to become better and better at identifying that to become better traders. To say, okay, you know what? Wait a minute. We're all thinking it's going to remain. I need to be careful here.
It's interesting because I often try to explain why I use my risk range process. And I often say it's just so that I fade myself.
Interesting.
Like, because risk range meaning that if you're at the top of the range, you sell or you short. Right. At the low end of the range, you buy and you cover. And it's always the worst. I shouldn't say always, but typically it's the worst feeling. To be doing precisely what my model tells me to do. And if I don't override myself, I agree with you 100%. That's where I make my biggest mistakes, is where I say, well, the low end of the range looks like I shouldn't be doing anything here. I shouldn't cover any shorts. Then I'll look at it a month later, Richard, and then like, oh my God, that was the most obvious spot to cover shorts of the year.
It's painful. Yeah, it's painful. And every time we will fall into that trap, and it's just human nature. But that's really why I started studying this science, and then why we designed the data, and then why we're creating trading models based on it. And why we have to use machine learning is machines number one, they can think of all those different factors and figure out all the times in the last 17 years of our data that those factors aligned in that way and what happened next. And so they can very precisely understand movements in the media and how the movements in the media affect the bulk of traders and then prices.